I don't think. I mean, we knew we had something really good on our hands, and we just wanted to give it the service it deserved, but no one could have anticipated this.
No. I mean, we started it, with the pilot at the South by Southwest Film Festival, and immediately I just thought, well, that's unique in and of itself, that a television show is screening at a film festival. I just thought that was very unusual, and then winning the audience award there then I went, wow, okay. But you still kind of go like, not really. I know I like the show, but are people actually really? It's always surprising. It is.
That scene.
I mean, when I read it, I was I was excited. First of all, I'm a New Yorker, so the idea of getting to do a scene in Times Square was thrilling, but this wasn't just any scene. I mean, this was like a very unique and I thought beautifully written speech, and so I was excited and then got very nervous about it. I know he'd shot a scene already in Times Square and it talked about what it was like being there, and just the crowd and the lights and how crazy and the people milling about whenever they see a camera. It can be absolutely insane. So that all made me nervous. So I ended up just going to Times Square every day and night prior to shooting that scene, maybe like 5 or 6 days prior to, and just with a Bluetooth headphone, just like any other douchebag in the city, and pretending I was talking to somebody, and rehearsing that scene sort of in the middle of Times Square, and somehow managed to get away with it. So I'm grateful.
I remember doing it in the pilot, and it speaks to what you were saying. It was like, I was like, we're making something really special here. We were shooting with Nils, directed the pilot, and we were just...
I was such a fan of The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo also. I mean, that was the thing. It was like that movie, I just loved it. I loved it. I just thought Nils did such a great job. So having him there was fantastic.
It was he's running gun, shooting in Times Square. I was like, well, who's going to ever get to do this again? Yeah. And then here we are in the finale doing it. And I mean, I thought it's an iconic moment when he picks me up by the lapel and throws me against the huge
American flag.
Marine Corps recruiting flag.
Right.
I just thought about this. Like, I'm recruited, you don't mess with this up.
That's right. Yeah, very nice.
It's very militaristic, isn't it?
Totally. Yep.
And there's something very familial in that moment and fatherly, and I was just telling Christian when he did that speech, it was so good. He was far away from me, and there were so many people surrounding him that when the camera wasn't on me, I would sneak back and go watch him by the monitors because it was iconic, and he delivered the speech so well. I was like, somebody give me some popcorn.
It's this world we're in. I think it's become much more difficult for filmmakers to get their movies made, with financing. So television seems to have become the place for a lot of creative and talented people to express themselves now. Steven Soderbergh and just all these fantastic, wonderful filmmakers are seeing this as an opportunity to create deeper, more in-depth stories. So it's become the new independent film world.
Good. And the characters you get to develop over a course of a season.
That's the other thing.
You don't never get to do that in film. Maybe. I mean, if it's an epic film. With a phenomenal director behind it, but the ability to develop a story and characters the way we have is something I think a lot of artists are reaching for these days, and they see that available on a small screen. Yeah,
and so many other different platforms. I mean, it's incredible. Yeah.
Is Edward an evolution of Mark Hunter?
Oh, good question. Hard Harry. I've heard that reference. I mean, this is kind of in a very remote way. I mean, in a charming way, I suppose. I mean, like the technology that I had to work with and pump up the volume was a ham radio. We were dealing with taking down a school board. Now we're dealing with greater issues, better technology, So, but there are elements. I mean, this is just on I think a grander, more in-depth scale. But there was a lot of heart in that particular project, and it's definitely a lot of heart and soul in this, I think.
Who can do what Elliot did? Elliot, he's
a magician.
There are guys that can do that, which is very scary.
Yeah. That's the scary thing.
That is. I mean, that's what all of our governments are concerned with these days is one guy sitting behind a computer who can systematically destroy major components of militaries, corporations. It exists, and that's what's terrifying. Can I do that? No. I'm an actor.